Welcome to Discovering Japan, a Cultural Journey. I'm Alex, and I've always been fascinated by the history and traditions of Japan.
And I'm Ben, and I'm more drawn to Japan's modern pop culture and city life. And that's really what we're exploring today, how those two worlds, the ancient and the futuristic, exist together so beautifully.
It's one of the first things people notice. I mean, you step out of a bullet train surrounded by all this neon and skyscrapers.
Yeah, totally.
And then you turn a corner to find a quiet, centuries-old shrine with people just clapping their hands in prayer. It's amazing.
Totally. Or my favorite image, my absolute favorite,
What's that?
is seeing someone in a stunning, an elaborate kimono, just effortlessly texting on the latest iPhone. To us, it might look like a contradiction, but in Japan, it's just life.
Exactly. It shows that tradition isn't some, museum piece. Right. It's a living, breathing part of the present. Yeah, a great example of this is the tea ceremony, or chanyu. On the surface, it's a very, very formal ritual for preparing and drinking matcha tea.
I've always found it a bit intimidating, to be honest. All the specific movements and rules.
And that's fair. But the core idea, the why behind it, is universal.
Okay.
It's about ichigo ichie, a concept that means one time, one meeting. It's about pouring all your attention into a single, unrepeatable moment.
So it's a form of mindfulness, basically.
Exactly. But how does that spirit connect with everyday life for someone who isn't, a tea master?
Well, I think you see its echo everywhere. Think about an expert bartender in a Ginza cocktail bar.
Ooh, yeah.
The precision, the focus, the silent dedication to crafting the perfect drink. That's the spirit of Chanyu in a modern form. It's finding art in a deliberate practice process.
That makes so much sense. It's not about the object,
Right.
tea or a cocktail, but the mindset behind it.
And that mindset, it feels deeply connected to Japan's spiritual landscape, which is also so unique.
It is. Most people in the West, we think you have to choose one religion.
Yeah, one or the other.
But in Japan, most people practice a mix of two, Shinto and Buddhism. They're not in conflict. They handle different parts of life.
Oh, cool. Almost like having a spiritual toolkit.
Right.
You use one tool for one job and another for a different one.
That's a perfect analogy. Shinto is Japan's indigenous tradition.
Okay.
It's all about life, nature, purity, and community. So you go to a Shinto shrine to celebrate a birth, pray for success, or enjoy a lively festival.
And that's when you see those iconic, bright red torii gates, right?
Exactly. Then you have Buddhism,
Right.
which is more focused on philosophy and the afterlife. So Buddhist temples are where you typically have funerals and ceremonies to honor ancestors. They have a much more serene, contemplative feel. One is for celebrating your time in this world, the other is for reflecting on what comes next.
Wow. So it's a complete system. No contradiction, just balance.
Yeah.
This idea of dedication and having a specific role to play, it has to connect to food, right?
Of course. And it's the perfect place to see tradition and modernity collide.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's take Japan's two most famous dishes, sushi and ramen.
Ah, the great debate. I think for a long time, the world saw sushi as the Japanese food.
For sure.
It's elegant, it's subtle, it's an art form.
And it is. It represents that traditional ideal of purity and perfection. And a master sushi chef, or itamai, trains for decades just to understand the fish, to perfect the rice. It's a quiet, refined world. But lately, ramen feels like it's taken over. It's loud, it's diverse, and it has this massive global cult following. People line up for hours, and every region has its own fierce pride. The rich miso ramen of Hokkaido, the pork bone tonkotsu of Fukuoka. And here's the beautiful part.
Yeah.
Despite their differences,
Yeah.
they both represent the soul of the Japanese craftsman, the shokunin. The ramen master who has spent 30 years perfecting a single broth is just as much a shokunin as the third-generation sushi chef. Wow, so whether it's a $300 meal at a silent sushi counter or a $10 bowl of noodles you slurp down in minutes,
Exactly.
you're experiencing the same core value, a lifetime of dedication poured into a single perfect moment. Precisely. It's not old versus new.
No.
It's a timeless philosophy expressing itself in different forms. That is the real magic of Japanese culture.
So now here's a question we'd like you to think about. Think about a popular food from your country. What deeper cultural values, like craftsmanship, community, or regional pride, does it truly represent?